Okay, there appears to be a bombshell report that was released on Yahoo News. It says documents revealed DNC was, quote, intimately involved in development of troubled Iowa caucus app. So, this is an unaffiliated Democratic operative in Iowa provided Yahoo News with a copy of the contract between Shadow and the Iowa Democratic Party. The contract, which was signed on October 14, 2019, and refers to Shadow as the, quote, consultant, specified that the company had to work with the DNC and provide the National Party with access to its software for testing. Quote, consultant agrees to work with the DNC Services Corporation / Democratic National Committee on an ongoing basis as consultant develops the software, the contract reads. The contract also specifies that Shadow agrees to, quote, provide DNC continual access to review the consultant's system configurations, security and system logs, system designs, data flow designs, security controls, preventative and detective, and operational plans for how the consultant will use and run the software for informational dissemination, pre-registration, tabulation, and reporting throughout the caucus process. This is an email provided to Yahoo News also appears to show that Seema Nanda, the CEO of the DNC, and Kat Atwater, the National Party's Deputy Chief Technology Officer, were involved in drafting the contract and requested the addition of the provision that gave them access to Shadow and the app. In the email dated July 30th, 2019, Atwater provided an IDP official with draft text for the provision detailing the DNC's access to the app. Atwater in the email said the provision was specifically requested by Nanda. So, basically what this means is, at best, the Democratic National Committee, the DNC, one of the most corrupt organizations in all of U.S. politics today, at best it was extreme incompetency, but I think that you'd have to be incredibly naive and quite frankly very stupid to think that it would be incompetency, considering that they have all the access to this. We know the history of the DNC. We know the president of the DNC, by the way, Michael Bloomberg, virtually purchased the DNC for himself and the Democratic Party already. He donated like $300,000 or $800,000 like to various different like Democratic Party groups, and so he essentially purchased it. There are people on the Rules Committee who are simultaneously working for Michael Bloomberg's campaign. John Podesta is part of the DNC. It is some pretty terrible stuff going on here. It's really, really bad. So AOC actually says, if this reporting is correct, then there needs to be accountability at the DNC. Even if the DNC's access to the tool was, quote, solely for security testing as they claim, ProPublica found major hackable vulnerabilities almost immediately, which means they didn't do their job. It says, candidate preferences aside, the integrity of our primaries are incredibly serious. We cannot afford to be pointing fingers. We need to pinpoint solutions. The DNC was responsible for security and there were security failures. We need to address that. So, she's obviously right. And she's basically saying, I think she's hinting that there's like some shady stuff going on. Also, Troy Price, I believe is the guy's name, the guy who is the chair of the Iowa Democratic Party, has stepped down after the whole caucus debacle. This is easily one of the worst caucuses held in virtually all of history. All of American history. This is definitely one of the worst ones for sure. Definitely goes up in the top 5. A massive clusterfuck, but there's really no way, assuming you take in all of the facts and all of the data and all that stuff, if you combine all of that stuff, there's no way that you would be convinced that it's just incompetency. There's obvious, malice there. There's obviously, malintent and obvious, a desire to rig the election against Bernie Sanders, and that's obviously what's going on here. So can we even really trust the results of Iowa? Fuck no, dude. No way. And did Bernie Sanders actually win Iowa in 2016? Hell yeah, he did. Absolutely. 100%. So, another bombshell report, the DNC. Also, the DNC took over counting duties 4 some days into after the Iowa Democratic Caucus. So, it's just a lot of fishy stuff going on here, man. Very bad stuff.